What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Early Edge. We've got a special live betting edition, and I'm going to be short for once in my life. I like to hear myself talk, but we got to get things going. We've got an MLB live betting stream, and we've got all the heavy hitters. -1. Tom Casale may join us. Some weather issues where he's at, but we got the Sniper. We got AMags. We got Zack Cimini. We got Mike McClure. And gentlemen, we have 4 baseball games, one of which is going to tip off in 5 minutes. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to start with the first game. We're going to talk about some bets we like going into the game. And of course, as this hour transpires, we might go an hour, might go an hour and a half, might go 45 minutes. Let's just see how this thing goes. Once we get through some live some betting before these games, we'll get to the live betting portion of this. But let me just go just quickly around the horn here. Sniper, how you doing today?
Very good, except you said tip off. We throw first pitch in baseball. Come on, man.
Yeah,
I know it's probably just Pacers.
I just did basketball, soccer, and golf all in the last hour and a half. I have no idea what's going on.
That's to be tough to keep it. Just say the puck drops all the time, because that one is the one that sounds the coolest, actually.
Actually, that does sound the coolest. Zach, it's also cool to be in Vegas year-round. How you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing terrific. Glad to be on with you guys. It's been a while since we've done some live betting in baseball, but it's definitely something we've done as part of the SportsLine team.
Yeah, certainly has been a long time. AMags, how you doing today?
I'm doing great here, Sia. And actually, I just remembered if you, I don't know if you guys here play fantasy baseball. I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to get Spencer Strider off my IL and into my lineup here today. So
there you go. There you go. That's a good segue. Mike McClure, we got Spencer Strider on the mound. That's the first game. Braves, Blue Jays. I know you don't have an official play or even an unofficial play going into this game. Anything you're looking for from Strider in particular?
Yeah, just strikeouts. He is truly the strikeout master. I know you see a line at 5.5 -175 here. We'll see what the pitch count ultimately looks like, but fired up for this one to see. Because we're having fun here, I'm going to sweat a little no-run first inning with a strikeout artist in this game. Hopefully someone wants to sweat it with me, but
Sniper does.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
We got 2 minutes. We got 2 minutes. So Sniper,
did I not read the rundown, guys? I'm sorry.
No. That's good. That's actually a professional segue. Sniper, we have like 90 seconds to put this in. Mike likes it. You like it.
No run first inning, -145. I don't care about the juice. Bassett's been great so far. The Braves offense is slow starting. Spencer Strider's back. The Blue Jays power hasn't been there. Love it. No run first inning as well.
All right. And Tom Casale, I can tell you, kind of likes the first 5 under 4.5, which seems to be like a pretty solid play. Works with the NRFI. Listen, y'all have, I mean, I'm looking at the clock here. You have 1 minute to put that in. So let's get that one in, and then we'll get to this Tigers-Brewers game to see if we have anything pre-flop. But Zach, you like a Michael Harris over as well, right?
Yeah, I'm actually going to wait for that in game because it is a bit juiced. So in the leadoff spot today, we'll see if he doesn't get a hit, and then you can get a better adjusted price in game. But I'm also looking at the Atlanta Braves. Anytime a team is struggling, as they did out the gate, digging themselves that big hole, you look for a pattern trying to get out. And over their last 10 games, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. Lost yesterday. They had 8 runs in the first game. Yesterday, they did okay, just couldn't get the runs. They had 8 team hits, so I'll be eyeing the Braves in game as well.
You'd think they'd be kind of motivated too to get a win behind Strider and potentially have that moment where their season like really turns around. Let's just move to some of these other games before they tip, because they're about to tip. Tigers-Brewers. Does anybody hand up? AMags, you have a hits, runs, RBIs. Let me just make sure there's no NRFI or anything like that.
I posted those in the Discord as well, so you guys could have jumped on them. But I had Gleyber Torres in that game, hit run RBI over 1.5.
If you're a SportsLine member, you should be a SportsLine Discord member as well. That's obviously free with your membership. Okay, Sniper, we have a Tigers bet, but it's an under in this second game, Tigers-Brewers.
Yeah, under half run, so I have them going scoreless in the first 3 innings. It's +130. We're obviously gambling a little bit here. Jose Quintana on the mound, a lefty. The Tigers have so many lefties in the lineup. They do not hit lefties very well. They haven't seen him since 2022, and obviously the rosters are way different, so there's no familiarity. I like that for the first time through the order. My only fear is a Spencer Torkelson bomb, but I'm willing to go with it because of the plus money.
All right, and Zack Cimini, we're looking at a first 5 under in this one, right?
Yeah, I mean, Jose Quintana signed by the Brewers late, just coming off his first start, 80 pitches and 7 innings against the Arizona Diamondbacks. I don't think that was a fluke outing. That's his best efficiency in terms of pitches since his rookie year in 2012 when he threw 77 pitches in 8 innings against the LA Dodgers. Montero has looked okay in AAA, had some good outings last year, shut out the Yankees in 5 innings, shut out the Rockies in September. So I think we get the first 5 under 4.5.
I've got 2 minutes, AMags, to make the following play. And it's a little contrary to what Sniper just suggested. And honestly, take Sniper over me, like literally every time. But I kind of liked the Tigers' first 5 plus a half because I was getting minus 115. We got Montero versus Quintana. Any thoughts on that one? I got a minute to put it in if you like it.
So my thought on that is, honestly, I don't really trust Jose Quintana. We'll see what we can get from him. But I mean, averaged almost 95 miles an hour on the exit velo for the sinker here that he was throwing last time out. I mean, Mike loves the expected WOBA. The expected WOBA, 130 points higher than the actual last start. I just don't know if I really trust him to perform that way. So I would be with you on the other side there, Sia.
All right, let's move on real quick to Mets Twins because that also starts at 110. So a little behind here, but we don't have much in terms of like the pre-flop stuff. This show is going to be mostly like live action, of course, but we do have Mets first 5 Sniper, which you can get after this, after opening pitch, obviously. So something to keep in mind. But talk to me about Mets first 5 real quick.
Yeah, they're the better team. The Twins offense is awful right now, hitting .213 with a 77 OPS plus, 3.4 runs a game. Carlos Correa is out. Royce Lewis is out. The Mets are using an opener in Huascar Brazoban, but I trust the Mets a little bit more here than the Twins with David Festa on the mound. So I like the Mets to take the lead early and hold it through 5 at least.
All right, Joe Neuenfeld says, I just took it, Sia, plus a half at minus 115. I took it as well, but I didn't put as much on it as I was going to because I kind of want to root for Sniper's bet as well. Zack Cimini, Mets Twins, we're eyeing something in-game. Just talk to me sort of vaguely about what you're looking for.
Yeah, I'm going to eye the Twins in game, potentially even an adjusted run line if they can get some runs early. I just look at the Mets, their second series. This is the tail end of their 2-series road trip, and they started to show some fatigue yesterday. You got to remember they jumped right into this series against the Twins after that road trip in Sacramento. Had just 3 hits through the first 6 innings yesterday against the pitcher in Bailey Ober. That's been struggling, and at the end of series, they've been struggling in terms of runs. 1 run against Houston, 2 runs against Toronto, shutout against the Marlins. So I'm going to eye that on the Twin side.
Moshi likes Mets team total over 3.5. We're already sweating a bet. We're going to have way more bets to come in live, but I'm looking at Braves, Blue Jays. Mike has chronicled. We've got 1 out, 5 outs to go on the NRFI. 1 and 2 count here as Bassett is dealing to the second batter. Astros-Cardinals. Let's see if we have any pre-flop action here. That starts in 4 minutes. Sniper looks like we got. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to go just a sprinkle because it's tough to bet on 1 run in the first inning, but I've got the Cardinals scoring in the first inning at plus 240. Ronel Blanco has had first inning issues pretty much throughout his career this year. Even last year when he was really good, he had a 4.03 ERA in the first inning. That's the worst of any inning last year, and that was his breakout season. He's much worse this year. The Cardinals have hit very, very well at home so far this year, so we're going to go with the Cardinals to score in the first inning.
All right. Moshi says, I don't know what he's talking about. We got 2 outs. Like we only have 1 live bet. So if you say, all of a sudden somebody's going to think somebody got a hit or a home run. Yes, Nerfy. Thank you for helping me out on that, Nick Sosno. I'll start saying Nerfy instead of the acronym, just saying it out. All right. 2 outs in that NRFI bet. See, I can't
You have that Michael Harris plus 100 now for the hit run RBI for Zach because he was the first out of the
nice. Zach, is that something? Is that something to take now, or would you wait?
Not just yet. If Bassett already 2 strikeouts, first 2 batters, so let's see the next time around. I might wait again for his 3rd at bat to jump in.
Very interesting. All right, Astros Cardinals. Let's see. We had the Sniper pick, and then Zach, you have something on Altuve.
Yeah, I just looked at the history against Steven Matz, who's getting his first start from the bullpen for the St. Louis Cardinals. He threw 46 pitches Saturday, and Altuve's done well against Matz, 3 for 6 with a home run. And also look at Altuve. He's been in a little mini slump, 1 for his last 13. Just ended his 3-game hitless streak yesterday. He's a player you expect to snap right back into form. got a hit in his first 12 out of 13 games this season. So I'll be eyeing Altuve. But once again, the juice was minus 150. So we'll see how that first at bat goes.
All right. And I will mention Tom Casale likes the Cardinals first 5 money line. Sniper, go ahead.
Oh, I was pumping my fist because we got through the top of the first with no runs.
Right.
Three Ks right there on best.
You see me looking this way, that's where I have my TVs. So
All
I love it.
Swinging as well. Impressive. All swing and miss stuff. All 3 of them.
Yeah.
Wow. Zach, did you have some follow-up as well?
Yeah, I did on St. Louis side. They were shut out yesterday. There were 6 instances last year that they were shut out. Besides an extra inning loss, they won all the other 5 times. So that's another point potentially if they do get down early.
Okay, fair enough. Paul L says this is a fun way to spend a lunch break. It really is. And the more people in here, the better, especially for a show like this. So I just tweeted out the stream. I just retweeted it, or I might have said this is going to be a fun show. I quote tweeted it actually. If you see the stream on Twitter, go ahead and retweet it, because I think this is the kind of show where we want as many people involved, cashing tickets as well. Obviously, hit the like button and all of those things as well. All right. Well, the Braves, Blue Jays that were to the bottom of the first here. We got 3 more outs to go. Anything else we're looking at before we kind of get into the meat and potatoes of this game? I'm looking to see what has happened, if anything, in that first that Tigers-Brewers game.
Quintana leadoff walk here, I think.
Yeah, it was.
Yep.
Okay. So that's good for the +0.5 bet on the Tigers. We'll see if that works out. But Sniper, we're looking for 0 through 5.
We're gonna get a double play ball here. It's all right.
Fair enough. Stephen Cook says I retweeted it. Some others saying that as well. Absolutely appreciate that. All right, so we got Spencer Strider on the mound. Let me talk to you, AMags. And by the way, hand up if anybody needs to say anything from a live standpoint, because that's going to be the most important thing here. But what are we expecting from Strider in terms of a pitch count, AMags? Any thoughts there?
I mean, I couldn't find a definitive number. If you want, like, I guess what I had looking at projections was like 94. I mean, he got to 90 last time, 75 the start before, 5 1/3 in each of those starts and the rehabs. But I mean, that's like everything going right for him, to give up 3 hits through those 2 starts. We'll see what happens here against an actual major league lineup. I just felt like to get into that 6th inning, it was going to take a good amount of things to go his way. And then you're at 16.5 instead of 15.5 there. I think the number dumped to like -160 right before the first pitch on the under 16.5. So we'll see what happens.
All right. It looks like some of you that are watching are about 20 seconds ahead of me as we get a swing and a miss.
3-pitch strikeout.
Yeah. The second pitch was kind of high and tight. Could probably, I think it
97 riding up in on the hands. That's Spencer Strider. That he looks like himself. So there's good breaking ball there on the strikeout. Looks like himself.
Yep. The very, very Sniper. Do you have an expectation in terms of how long the Braves leave him in?
I mean, I didn't look. AMags, you looked at his game logs in the minors. How many pitches did he get up to?
It was 90 in the last one and then 75 before that. But
yeah,
I mean, the projection had 94.
How efficient he is, he could go 6, 5 or 6.
He definitely could. My thoughts with that too were like, you have the Braves as an off day tomorrow. The bullpen hasn't been used much in the last few games. Like, they don't really have a need to push him. They've got kind of whatever they want to do at their disposal. If it was 15.5, I wouldn't have bet it.
Watching 1-1 count to Vlad Guerrero Jr.
There's a double play in Milwaukee, by the way.
Oh, you got it. All right.
There we go.
Fair enough.
Yeah. On Strider, guys, I think it's going to be basically 75. And what I mean by 75 is if he's at 75 at the end of an inning, I think that's going to be it. If he isn't 275 and ends an inning, he's going to get to go out.
Let him go a whole other inning. Yeah.
So they hit.
Then so be it.
That's how it was with his rehabs too. Like, I think they had wanted to hit those 75 and 90 thresholds. So he gets through 5, was a little bit under those pitch counts. So I think that's why they had sent him back out there to reach those pitch counts.
Altuve, go ahead. Oh, did he get another out?
Yep.
Okay.
5
So
outs, 5 strikeouts. All
Interesting note, unrelated to our action right now, but Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Bo Bichette both have 0 home runs.
I
so
know.
I feel like at some point they're both hitting for average. They're just not hitting it over the fence yet. It might be something to watch in the next few days if they face a pitcher who's maybe homer prone to jump on a little sprinkle on a home run prop, because they're going to start hitting home runs at some point, especially Vlad.
Vlad Guerrero was about 10 feet away from hitting the third strike on from Spencer Strider. He was not even close. Strider's stuff looks really good.
Really sharp. Yeah.
I see an 0-1 count. I know some of you are a little bit ahead of me. We got Altuve with a base hit. Zach, you were on Altuve's, or at least you recommended Altuve's over hits, runs, and RBIs. He's already got a base hit.
Glad to see that, and maybe we'll jump on an additional prop on Altuve. But with this Atlanta Braves-Toronto Blue Jays game, you're not seeing much movement on the adjusted total here. It's only to 6.5 with the pregame of 7. So I may be interested on jumping on that over, especially if Strider is not going to have as much success. He's only thrown 10 pitches for these outs so far, but we know he's going to be limited somewhat in this game, and I just trust both teams to score some runs. So there's a reason why the books haven't adjusted this total a full rundown.
Let's see. JG86 says Strider's thighs are massive for his stature. That's so true. Guy's a giant.
His thighs are insane. If you look at his calves and his thighs are like.
Yes.
Landon Lai made the live show. Good to see you in here. Jason says one more strike. Yeah, I'm looking at a 2-2 count. Astros already up 1-0, by the way. Matt's under 2.5 Ks, says Derek M. That's a live play at -130 as we go to a full count here for Spencer Strider. Again, some of you are ahead of me here. Do we know what
pitches off?
We know what the status is?
He fouled off the next 3 and 2.
Okay.
Yep.
That's what we love to see for the outs. Play if you're going under on the outs, you want the long counts. 8, 9, 10 pitches for one bat. That's that is tough, man, to give up that many pitches for one batter.
That's right. Derek M says he's going to get capped at 65, maybe a little bit more than that, but I think 65, 75 sounds like it's a decent range, particularly if, to your point, Mike, if he ends an inning that way.
Yeah, I think I was talking about Matt's on Derek M.
Yeah,
Matt's is also going to be on a pitch count.
It's a double there for
got a double from Santander. Here we go. Big
okay.
sweat. Now we're living.
Now we got to sweat.
No sweat free. Action. No sweat free.
Yeah, that was
man, that's a grounder.
Better than a homer. Says
he was way late.
All right, so we got a sweat here. Anything else going on in the other games?
Sia, can I ask at least Mike, because I'm curious how you get the how you do your projected number for pitches on a guy like Strider for today?
Basically just using body of work from like what I've seen for top tier pitchers returning from injury, essentially. And you kind of mentioned that there 75 and 90 typically kind of tend to be those numbers. 75 typically the number in a first start. So that's the number that I look for. And from what I've seen historically from everyone, not just the Braves organization, which you can definitely dive deeper into single organizations, but it typically is if they hit 75, they're not going out for the next inning. But if they end an inning, 71, 2, 3, 4, something like that, they're likely to start the next inning.
Yeah, I haven't remembered too many outs props that we've got like right when guys get off the IL. So here we go.
It's too messy then.
Cash it. That's it. That's a nerfy.
Yeah, it's very
no run first.
Got him.
No run.
Good
first
job, everybody. We're 1-0. Actually, 2-0. Did anybody take? I want to hear from the chat because Katie Taylor was in here saying, check mark next to who's Altuve. He already hit his over hits, runs, RBIs because up 1-0. He's the one that scored. Yeah. So if anybody actually cashed that one, I want to know. We want to know. But also, it looks like a lot of people in the chat were on this nerfy play. Sniper, good job. And Mike.
Awesome. Mike said it before me. So you got
I didn't know there was I didn't even know we had a rundown. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, we're both on it. We're good.
Love it. We got a lot of people that say, okay, so let's see if we can build off of that. Now we've got the Astros game. It's 1-0. I don't know if we're in the bottom of the first yet.
Quintana just tried to make a pickoff through the first, but first wasn't even being covered.
Oh boy. Yeah, we're in the middle of the first in Houston, St. Louis. Anything to look at when you get the away team in this particular case up 1-0? Are we looking to maybe look the other way, or what are we looking for, Mike? I'll ask you in this Houston St. Louis game, if anything.
The thing that I'd be looking at on the St. Louis side would just simply be I'm more interested in player props, knowing that in the current given state, you're guaranteed 9 innings or they're scoring, right? So you can look at things like that. It just gives you a better probability of getting an additional plate appearance.
Really, really good point there. All right. Zack Cimini, anything you're seeing in any of these games worthy of keeping an eye on?
Yeah, this St. Louis game, I see they're plus, what is it? Plus, just
105.
Plus 105. I wouldn't jump on them right now. You want to back a team down when the other team's at bat. So maybe in the top of the second or top of the third. Still want to see how Matz does. He worked around some of that damage, kept the runner from third from scoring. So let's see how he does in the second inning. Then maybe the top of the third, I would eye a play on St. Louis.
And explain that real quick, just so maybe new bettors don't understand why you do that. That's to maximize the best price, right, Zach?
Exactly. You're going to get more of a plus payout in that instance, and we'll get to see it once we get to the top of the second, how that shifts.
All right, Sniper. Oh, go ahead, Mike.
I'd say what I meant by that also is in live betting, if you're watching a game and you liked any hitters on the home team and you hadn't played them yet, you're considering it. If that team falls behind in the top of the first, that is the best time to simply go buy player props on that team, particularly at the top of the order. Guys like Newt Barr, Brendan Donovan, Arenado, Contreras, things like that. Just because, again, it does increase the probability of getting that additional plate appearance while not burning one for the bet itself.
All right. Josh Lucero says, am I watching Sia Nejad or Scott Hansen? Thank you very much, sir. AMags, anything for us to look at right now?
No, I totally agree with what the other guys said here about the hit run RBIs and going at them, after the fact.
Should we be taking a look at especially the first 5 under, see what that line is at in this Blue Jays Braves game, just seeing as though both these pitchers look pretty locked in, and we know Strider's going to be there at least for 4 to 5 innings.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard telling. I mean, the Braves bullpen so far has been so unpredictable.
I mean, the under 3.5 on draft.
It's 2.5 now.
I just don't know, man.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Strider's probably going to get through 5. Bass is probably going to get through 5. I think that's just such a low under. Yeah, I probably would go under that. Really, they both look good.
Yeah, I mean, we're through 1 inning, so we've got 4 innings left. It's interesting. I wasn't suggesting it. I didn't know what the line would be. I figured it wouldn't be a flat 3. It'd be 2.5. Anybody else have thoughts on that?
I think I might almost rather just take the full game if it's still at 6.5 there, right?
Probably.
It is.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be 5.5 if they go scoreless this inning for sure.
Yeah, I think I'd rather just be on a 6.5.
Fair enough. All right. What other games are we looking at here, gentlemen?
Yeah, just a note here: the Tigers did get through the first without scoring a run, so I just need 2 more innings there to win that. However, Quintana looked absolutely awful. Could barely throw a strike. Got bailed out with a double play ball hit right back at him, and then he tried to pick a guy off first when the Rhys Hoskins wasn't even covering first base. So it might be a decent time to look at something with the Tigers.
Yeah, especially with, to Zach's point, with Milwaukee 0 outs in the bottom of the first, you're getting a good Tigers price right now.
And that's something where if you are actually watching the game, you can get a better feel for how you might want to play it. Because if you just see the 0 in the first inning, you might think, oh, Quintana got through the first, didn't give up a run. He's okay. He did not look okay at all.
Yeah. I mean, I'm already invested on the Tigers first 5 plus a half. The number is still the same. It's still minus 115, but Tigers first 5 money line plus 120. That's what it was pre-flop as well. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at it now. My number isn't as good as the one I'm looking at as the one I see here. First 5 money line plus 150 for the Tigers seems like a pretty good price. Am I missing something? They have a runner on base.
Just the Brewers haven't bat yet, right?
No,
right.
They haven't even hit.
So they have an extra at bat.
I was thinking more of like totals. If you liked the Tigers total before, even though they didn't score in the first, you might still like it. It might end up being a high scoring game. You never know. Because Keider Montero on the mound for the Tigers, not that much history. He's not usually a full-time starting pitcher. He just got brought up for a spot start here. We might end up seeing a lot of runs today in Milwaukee.
Very, very interesting.
I was actually going to say maybe the over on the team total for Detroit if you like that side. You have plus money on 3.5, first 5, and it was only 4 more at bats, but you're going over 1.5 for plus 110. If you were looking at that, maybe you would look at a team total then.
Interesting. Over 2.5 minus 180. So that one's going to be tough. Maybe a parlay piece. Mike, any thoughts on this either this Braves Blue Jays game, which we have up on the screen, or Detroit?
Yes, I'm watching this Braves Blue Jays game pretty heavily. I personally would do your best to focus on a single game or two at most when you're trying to do this. Otherwise, you'll really get scattered across the board. But I do have some interest in some of the totals in this game. Now, if you are on BetMGM and you click innings, you can bet individual innings as well. So you could talk about the total number of runs in the 3rd inning, for example, coming up. We could bet no run 3rd inning, which is appealing to me, depending on what you want to be betting it essentially now, because you're going to lose a number.
Get over his head. Get over his head.
At some of that. But yeah, I'm looking at first 3-run totals as well. I want to get through this half inning. And if we do get through this half inning, knowing we get Strider coming up, I think it's very close to the same thing as betting no run in that particular inning. And you can grab it at plus 135 right now. That's what I'm looking at. There's total runs. You can find, I don't know what game you're on there, actually. Oh, that's the Tigers-Brewers game. That's why I'm talking about the Braves. The number was way off on it, but I'm looking at under half a run in the first 3 innings at plus 135 currently on BetMGM.
Okay. We actually have a man on second base in this Braves game. It's actually a perfect pitch called a ball from Bassett. And then he tried to throw the base. I don't know who the base runner was. Tried to throw him out, went over his head. And so we got a man on second with 2 outs in the Atlanta-Toronto game. Sniper, what were you responding to?
Well, I had Cardinals in the first inning at plus 240 to score a run. They had a run on first with a leadoff walk and then hit a rocket in the gap that the Astros right fielder ran down full extension. It was, very close, but it's a loss nonetheless. But what I was saying was get over his head, get through there. I was rooting for the win there. Did not get it, but that happens. It was just a sprinkle anyway.
We got a base runner in Milwaukee, Detroit, 2 outs. Actually, 2 base runners. First and second, 2 outs, bottom of the first. Milwaukee with 2 base runners at the moment. Zach, you taking a look at anything worthy of a sprinkle?
Nothing from what I've said earlier. All positions still wait and see approach. But up to bat in this next inning for the Minnesota Twins, I want maybe a sprinkle on Brooks Lee. There's been some injuries with the Twins, with Carlos Correa and Matt Wallner getting hurt yesterday. And Lee came in yesterday, contributed with his first home run of the season, getting another start today. I think we could get a plus payout on his next at bat here. All right. AMags, anything you're looking at currently?
I was actually going to I like that under half a run look from Mike there, so I was going to bet that one. It does look like just locked, as he mentioned it would. So
yeah, I'm gonna still play it right now. It's at minus 110, under half a run. So we need 1.5 innings, but we have the bottom of the order for both situations here. So a little bit smaller play than the first play on the full no-run first inning, but I am playing under half a run in the first 3 innings of this game, which again, we're through running at 1.5. We're halfway there.
All right. I'm looking at Detroit and Milwaukee, still 2 on, 2 out. Got that first 5 bet personally. I know Joe and some others might have jumped on that. Looking for minimal runs from the Tigers through 3 innings, but looking for the Tigers to cover the first 5 as well. We haven't really taken a look at or talked about Mets Twins in a little while. Anybody know what's going on with that one currently?
Yeah, it's 0-0.
Okay.
Twins are batting in the
bottom of the second.
Bottom of the second. So
anything to look at there, gentlemen?
That one's blacked out for me, so I have to illegally stream it. So I didn't pull that up yet.
Fair enough.
You said that on the air. You're going to get busted now.
Yeah, I'm sure that I will get busted.
Yeah, that's what.
No, I
didn't try to Esquire your service.
I had Mets first 5 here. I think it's probably going to be low scoring. The Mets are using an opener in Huascar Brazoban. But like I said at the start, they're the better team. The Twins offense is terrible right now. Maybe the second time through the order for the Mets is when they can start to get to David Festa, because they haven't really seen him so far. But nothing much has changed for me in that one.
So what's the next sweat we are looking for? Put me down for 2-0 Tigers, no run first inning. Okay. Good. Oh, so they got out of the jam then. Okay, so that's an update and a cash from Joe Neuenfeld. 2-0, says Joe. Absolutely love to see that. What's the next sweat we're looking for here? I know
I need the Tigers to not score for 2 more innings. Yeah,
Tigers
that's going to be sweaty.
And then Mike,
a lot of sweat.
What? Remind everybody what you put in, and can they still put that bet in?
They can still put it in. It's going to be an under, and it looks like you're getting a much better price because we have a leadoff single in the game. So you're back to the same price you had when we first started talking about it at 125.
And it was under what again?
Under half a run. So just no runs in the first 3 innings of this game. 1.5 more innings. Yep.
Okay. Zach, you currently sweating anything?
I'm going to be sweating the Brooks Lee recommendation.
Right.
It went from plus 130 to plus 105 because there was a leadoff walk. So he'll be the next to bat here.
All right. Jen M says Mike's pick is plus 135 on DraftKings. Joe Lucero says I have Mets full game at plus 104. Jables, I got the 3 innings under at minus 105. Okay, so Strider will have to work himself out of a opening inning single here. So we'll see how we'll be monitoring that one. Aaron Bailey says yes, CLE, FNN. They have them on each. Okay. All right. So
I don't know if I didn't want to like just jump in on you, but so numbers wise, math wise, Mike, so minus 110 before that single, right? And then plus 140 after this. Is that a 50 cents move for the single, you think?
I mean, there's a little bit of a movement for the single. Some of it's also the actual current pitch count at 2-1. Each pitch,
okay, fair enough,
there definitely matters. And in this spot, it is influenced because this is a 3 inning market, so it's the full next time they bat as well. And just adding the additional runner increases the likelihood of seeing Vlad again, which definitely has.
Gotcha. But that makes sense right there. Okay.
I love that analysis. Great question, AMags. Keep jumping.
Yeah, I'm like that's the stuff I honestly think about, and I'm not as great at all this math shit. So
now we're in real trouble. He hit the batter plus 220. I still don't mind it, but Strider is out of control a little bit right now.
That's a concern, right?
It's a big concern. Yeah.
And then
for sure.
Yeah. If you start to get tired, it's what I always tell people when they say, well, his velocity's still there, and this isn't necessarily coming off injury. It might be in the late innings. If you're talking about a starting pitcher get tired, the velocity doesn't go first. It's command. They can still throw just as hard. They just can't command it as well once they get tired. So if the command is going on Strider, that is definitely a concern.
Yeah. Outside, decent pitch, but outside he's 1-0 against Clement as we speak. See if he can work himself out of this jam. As I peek into the Tigers, because I know we have a play there. Top of the second, leadoff, looks like a leadoff single or walk for Detroit. Oh,
I'm going to guess single because it was Javi. So
okay.
Certainly that wasn't a walk.
Yeah, man on second with 1 out for the Detroit Tigers in the top of the second. And yeah, we're looking at Toronto, the Mets, and Minnesota. We've got bottom of the second, 0 outs. And we've got Minnesota with a man on first.
Yeah, Lee is up next. I'm like looking for where he's.
We've got a mound visit for Strider.
Yep, 2-0 count. Mound visit time, says Nikesh. I'm going to try to pronounce that last name. Bajaj. Need 2 more Ks from Bassett, says Joe Neuenfeld. Let's see here. Houston. Now this game, the Houston St. Louis is now in the. Okay, so Strider, mound visit is over. Let's see what we got here. All right, good pitch, 2-1. See if he can work himself out of this jam. St. Louis up here, bottom of the second, down 1-0. What else are we looking at, gentlemen? Sniper, what are you looking at?
Well, I've got that Tigers not scoring in the first 3 innings. There's a Tigers runner on third, but there's 2 outs. So we're sweating a little bit. But hey, it wouldn't be fun if we didn't sweat, right?
That's why we're here.
And we got one out for Strider, so that's good. And nobody advanced. So first and second, one out.
Yeah, that
Foul
was a huge
pop-up.
development for him. Huge.
That was a tough play too.
Turn back to that. That looked like he commanded that fastball well, at least. So
Yep.
Maybe
Great play by Olsen to catch that.
Just one pitch.
Stephen Cook still tailed the under half a run. Let's sweat. That's definitely what we're doing.
Took it
right
from
now.
plus 240 to plus 115 on the
Wow.
Interesting.
So double play ball wins the inning, obviously. So it's that's partially why.
So
Looks
I
like
don't
we
bet
got
those enough to understand that big of that swing there, Mike. So that must just be because it's such that small small sample. Like you're only looking at 3 more outs, right? So to get 1 more out is definitely probably bigger than I would think the swing would have been.
The Tigers are out of the top of the second. And so we still have our Tigers bets alive. That concludes Sniper. Now I'm hoping Milwaukee doesn't score because I got the plus a half a run on my first 5. So this could absolutely work out if we just get a scoreless 5 innings or at least 3.
See a Cleveland fan. I know that I see that name a lot.
Yeah.
Says sweating Strider under 16.5 outs and Strider to record the win. Plus
Wow.
850. That is an interesting parlay. Betting against yourself. I mean, almost to like the ultimate degree. If it was at 15.5, you'd have to hit it perfectly on the head.
That's like Mike. That's like some of the NFL bets where we're doing like over yards and under receptions.
Yes, big negative correlation. I would say it's not as strong as the negative correlation as those NFL ones, just because there's definitely the path. Obviously, the requirement is 5 innings to win a game, but yeah, it's definitely negatively correlated for sure.
Yeah, I mean, certainly a reason
Big
why it's
price
plus
on it.
850. Go ahead, Sniper.
There's a question in the chat from Sola Power. I like that. Maybe a Buckets fan. Solaire Power. Probably. Better home run candidate today. Mookie at plus 650, Soderstrom plus 500, Bobby Witt Jr. 475, Judge 225. Kind of like Soderstrom facing the White Sox. They're going to have a lot of guys who would be home run prone there. He hit a couple last night. They come in bunches for him. You're looking at Bobby Witt Jr. and Judge are good. Judge is facing Bubic, who right now looks like he might be tough to hit a home run against. Mookie, they're playing the Rockies. Was it Sensatella? No, Herman Marquez at home. Yeah, I'm going to run with Soderstrom on that one.
All right. I like that. Good question, by the way, because we don't have to relegate all the questions to these games.
Exactly.
We got a ton of baseball today. And by the way,
edge of the warning track fly there.
Yeah. We got 2 outs. Nobody advanced. No runners advanced. So we got first and second. I guess Straw is up. I'm not super familiar with him.
Miles
in the
Straw,
ninth.
Number 9 hitter.
That is, he's very famously hated by Yankees fans.
Unfortunately, he is a great contact hitter. I mean, he's got the highest average of anyone on the entire roster. Of the Blue
Well, I was
Jays.
going to say he's batting 379. Like, what are we
He's
doing?
a contact guy. He is
971 OPS though. It's a small sample size, but he's not a 971 OPS guy.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Let's see.
Fortunately, the base runner on second is going to need some time to get home if Straw gets a base hit.
That first single from Alejandro Kirk was 105 off the bat on Strider. Barger was 98.5 off the bat.
To your point there about Brooks Lee, Zach, that out he made was like 103 off the bat.
I know. I saw that 327 feet. So maybe we can get that one later.
Yeah.
But
jeez,
I will say with this long inning here for Spencer Strider, maybe that affects Chris Bassett a little bit from the rhythm he's had in the first 2 innings. And Michael Harris is going to be up. The odds shifted from minus 160 pregame to plus 110. So this may be a good time to jump in on Michael Harris.
I also think it might shrink Strider's expected pitch count because
he's laboring
they talk all the time about how all pitches are not created equal, all half innings are not created equal. High stress pitches are much harder on the pitcher than with nobody on base and 2 outs, for example. This was a full inning of high stress pitches and a lot of pitches in 1 inning. So we might be looking at Strider only getting through 4 innings, for example, right now. But then again, if he bounces back with like 9 pitches next inning, then you adjust it. It's just one of those things that you have to consider in game, how every little thing is an adjustment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's at 43 pitches, about to throw his 44th, and it looks like we got a full count.
Yeah, another full count.
I think he pitches 3 innings in this game.
Wow.
I don't think he finishes 4.
I wouldn't be surprised at this rate. Like the way that this second inning is gone, they're really right now probably talking about who they're going to get up in the bullpen to give them length.
Well, to that point too, like when I was talking about it this morning, about wanting the under, we saw it was the first inning, right? And he had even just 1 or 2 little at bats that go sideways, or, he hit that guy. Like if you start having a couple of those things happen, it's really going to be hard for you in your first start to get anywhere. So then you have an inning like this, that's really labor,
Even if he doesn't give up a run, this was a net negative inning for Strider.
Mm-hmm.
Because he just threw the ball into center field trying to pick him off at second. Oh my goodness.
I just saw that in the corner of my eye.
It wasn't even close.
I just saw the inside move. And it looked like
He's just toying with you. It's a strikeout. We're all right.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, there it is. There it is.
Did he strike him out? Yeah, got him swinging.
So
there it is.
Wow.
Through 245.
He likes to have fun. He's just messing around out there.
That is amazing. That was good stuff. First and second, nobody out. Completely gets out of it. Although he looked like, I think you guys are right. I think we're looking at 1 or 2 more innings most likely.
I wouldn't be as aggressive as Mike and say only 3, although I could see it going off the rails next inning. But 4, I would guess 4.
Top of the order's due up.
Yeah, and the top's already seen him. Maybe the stuff's diminished.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Milwaukee's got a man on third with 1 out. That's not helping my Detroit cause here. We'll see what happens there.
Hey, it's going to happen in the 4th and 5th innings after I cash my Tigers no runs.
Fair enough. Let's see here. We've got Houston and St. Louis at the end of the second. Mets, Minnesota remains scoreless. Top of the third there, 1 out for the Mets. And then, of course, we were just watching Atlanta and Toronto. Zach, I know you have to leave soon. Anything else for us to consider before you get out of here?
No, I had the first 5 under on Tigers-Brewers under 4.5. Like that position, even if they get a run here. The Brew Crew, we cashed Altuve. Now we're going to sweat Harris. So we'll see. I'm going to be hanging out for another about 10 minutes. So we'll see if I have
cool.
more position.
There was a question in the chat that Ben just put up on the screen that said, could you explain when to do a pitcher to record a win bet? Here's what I look for, and I'll let the others chime in if they want after that. If there is a game where I'm pretty sure that the team is going to win and the odds are heavily in that team's favor, let's look at a perfect example of this right now is the Rockies at Dodgers series. Every single game, you probably think the Dodgers are going to win, but their money line's like minus 285 or minus 300 or something. As long as you think that the starting pitcher is going to last 5 innings. For example, Dustin May on Monday would have been a really good to record a win play, because you assume May's going to throw 5 or 6 innings and the Dodgers are going to have the lead when he goes out and they're going to hold the lead. That's where I look at it. It's either the run line or pitcher to record a win when I think I'm sure that this team is going to win, but the money line is just too juiced.
Yeah. Follow up, Mike McClure.
I'm so distracted watching this. I forgot what I was going to say.
Well, that's okay. AMags, you follow up there.
No, I think that makes sense. And also, too, what I look for are those pitchers that are consistently getting deeper into the game. I don't love guys that you see multiple times they've been pulled before 5 innings. Like, you definitely want guys that are consistently at least getting through 5, because, of course, that's what you need. So, also, I don't know how exactly all the numbers break out, but when I do pitcher to record a win, I really would like to try to get like $1 back if I can on the number. Like if the number is, at minus 150, like if I could get to that plus 150, a lot of times you might get plus 125 or whatnot, but I try to get, a good amount of value back off the money line. There was one I had earlier this year that was Dylan Cease, and it, the numbers why I said there was still value at plus 115 to record a win, but it was really only giving us about 45 cents back. I generally don't love doing that. In the end, he stunk that night. So maybe that is a word to the wise, but yeah, I try to get at least like $1 in full value.
Yeah, let me look at like who the Rockies are playing this weekend. Nats. Let me see who the White Sox are playing this weekend. For me, it's picking on the bad teams, right, and moving the odds a little bit. Okay, White Sox at Red Sox this weekend. I know the Red Sox just got beat up a little bit in Chicago, but Tanner Houck was horrific on Monday. Maybe the single worst outing that we're going to see all year. But
It's so bad.
Sunday, White Sox in Boston against Tanner Houck, that might be one where I would play Tanner Houck to record a win. Or if you go to Monday, Patriots Day, 11:10 in the morning, Walker Buehler against the White Sox, I might look at Walker Buehler to record a win. For me, I look at just the awful teams who you think are definitely going to lose, and then you can get that money line number down a little bit more if you take the to record a win pitcher.
All right, we got a man on in this Braves game. Braves starting with a walk. Man on first.
Anytime you can walk the number 8 hitter, you got to do it. You got to do it.
Yeah, it's not great. Not great. And then, of course, Milwaukee scored at the bottom of the second. The bottom of the second. So that one's 1-0. Not a travesty. What do we got? What did I miss? A double play ball? No.
That sucks that you just couldn't turn 2 on that.
Yeah.
You got the ground ball you needed. It just wasn't in the right spot, unfortunately.
So man on second, 1 out, Atlanta, Toronto. We got middle of the third in middle of the inning in every other game that is going on live right now. Any games, I don't know, AMags from the early edge this morning, were there any other games that you had plays on that are later on in the afternoon or evening?
So I had the James Wood one. Let me pull up here to see, because I usually do have some hit run RBIs, and we have a couple out there that I've bet already, but I'll take a look here and let you know in a minute or two if we have any good hit run RBIs for. I did have James Wood as like one of the best ones today, though. So.
Michael Harris at the plate, by the way.
Yep, he's likely to, if this thing gets beat this run, it's likely to come on this plate appearance.
0-2 to Michael Harris, however. Let's see. CLE fan says, any value on the Guardians plus money tonight? I see Marshall is on them.
Yeah. I mean, the Orioles haven't been very good.
Dean Kramer, right?
I know they're at home. It's Kramer with an ERA over 8. He's probably going to get better, but Gavin Williams. Yeah. I'd be inclined if you said you take the money line on either the Guardians or Orioles. I would definitely take the Guardians side on that.
All right. Moshi says, I've got A's minus 1.5 at plus 110 and Guardians team total over 3.5 at minus 125. Any comments on the A's at the White Sox here? Anyone?
I mean, they're just unpredictable teams, man. It's tough when the teams are that unpredictable, it's tough for me to want to look at that game.
Yeah, fair enough.
Soderstrom, you mentioned him already. Hit run RBI for Soderstrom. I think that's definitely in play. When those guys get hot like that and, you're facing less than stellar arms, I think you kind of just got to keep riding them.
We have live rally cap from Brad Morris. Is that a rally cap situation, Mike McClure?
Yeah, there's strike 3 on Michael Harris.
Okay.
Need 1 out here. If you have 1 out here, we'll talk about it after we get it. Let's get it.
I love – who is this? You got Bill Miller back there. That's why. Bill Miller.
Yeah, that was not a strike.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. Bill Miller is one of the most pitcher-leaning umpires in the game.
Yeah, generally.
And I love the punch out from him.
Good punch.
He's a great punch.
I mean, it kind of looked like a strike without the box there. I will say
there
that. There are too many worked back
nowadays that take too long to call a strike, and it drives me crazy. You can tell from the catcher and batter reactions that they say it, but then it takes a second before they point. And I'm like, man, if it's borderline, you got to let us know right away too.
Yep, 100%. I always love the just like throw the hand up in the air immediately and then pull.
Was that Bruce Fleming? That might be too old for you guys. I'm the old one here, but Bruce Fleming was used to throw his hand up right away before he pointed. I think that's who that was. Sorry.
0-2 to Austin Riley.
I think that's who it was.
And by the way, while we're watching this at bat, Scott Davis wants to know, Mets are plus 120 full game right now. Do we like that? 0-0 bottom of the third. Minnesota has a man on first with 1 out. Anyone want to jump in on that?
Yeah, I still like the Mets here. I still think they're eventually going to get to Festa and the underbelly of the Twins bullpen. The Twins in the back end bullpen can be really, really tough with Griffin Jackson, Juan Duran. But if the Mets can get to the Twins in the middle innings, then I think that they're going to win this game. So, yeah, I kind of like the plus right now.
Yeah. I mean, it certainly looks like a good number.
And
on
it looks
that.
like I moved off of that game, but somebody in the chat mentioned that it looked like the Mets had Festa on the ropes last inning. So maybe it's only a matter of time before they break through.
Mm-hmm.
We are 3 outs away. So
All right.
what I was going to say for everyone out there,
Went around.
if you bet this at plus money like I did, so I bet it at minus 110. I bet it again at plus 240 when we had the runners on base. Now, because I have the plus 240, on the third inning on BetMGM, I can go over and bet the Blue Jays to win the inning, which means they'd have to score a run to win the inning and not tie. That is currently offered at plus 290. So now I have a plus 240 and a plus 290, which guarantees significant profit either way.
Wow. I love that. Welcome to the mind of Mike McClure. Sniper, you looks like 1 out away. Correct me if I'm wrong, but your bet on the Tigers was no run for the Tigers through 3 innings, for the Tigers specifically, right?
Yes. So we're in good shape there. Quintana just has to get 1 more out without allowing a run. So very good shape right there.
That would be a great cash.
Well, this is funny too, because remember I said the only thing that scares me is a Spencer Torkelson home run. He's on deck. So if we lost it.
So they got out of the inning. So you're good. You already cashed that. And what's the beauty of that though?
Now you can have the Tigers win.
Torkelson leadoff hitter home run in the 4th.
Here we go.
All right. We're doing pretty well right now. If you all have, by the way, looks like Mets, Minnesota, we've got a couple of men on base with a couple outs here. So that's something to be mindful of. Houston, St. Louis, man on second, 2 out, bottom of the 3rd. Anybody hand up? Anybody like anything right now? Anybody even looking at anything right now?
Well, just I saw in the chat they said David Festa had got hit hard that inning. So I started to look at it here. You had 2 balls over 101 miles an hour in 2 innings ago. And then last inning, you had another one at 103. So, I mean, they are, 3 balls within 6 batters hit over 101 miles an hour. They are hitting him rather hard.
And
so
this will be the second time through the Mets. This will be the second time through the order that the good hitters on the Mets see him. It might be a good time to start jumping on the Mets.
Yeah. Do we? I mean, I guess at this point, we kind of have to wait to see if the Mets get out of the jam here. 2 outs, 2 on. Right.
Well, if you like the Mets, try to bet them now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. True. All right. This is my favorite afternoon at work ever. Is this a one-time thing? That's a good question. I will probably have a few of these. Part of the reason this one made sense is because we had 4 games starting at 1, which this is probably one of the first times this season we've had that many games starting at around the same time. But yeah, we're trying. I don't know if you noticed, we're doing a lot of new stuff. As Bichette looks like he has doubled to start off the bottom of the 3rd here, so a little bit of trouble again for Strider.
Jason asked, just so you guys can also find it, Jason asked, where do you get that data? If you just go to MLB.com/scores, you can click on any of these games, click game day, and you can just click on any of the batters in the feed on the left side. So like that Bichette double right there was
gap is trouble. Yeah, that's trouble for
that was 108 off of Strider. So
well squared up. Yeah.
And by the way, so there's a lot of people that didn't know that. That's extremely helpful. There's no dumb questions here. But can you talk to me, AMags, and anybody can follow up here, but about what you're looking for from a hard hit rate? What's the mile per hour you're looking for to be like, all right, he's getting hit here.
Hard hits 95 or above. So yeah, and I like to look at it too for like pitchers. 94.9 is the average fastball exit velocity from this guy. It's like, all right, well, pretty much every time somebody hits a fastball off of him, it's hard hit, right? Like you start to look at things like that, and you get a sense of who a pitcher is, maybe on an underlying level than just what the actual results are. So that's I like to look at it live too, just to see the hitters I'm betting on for hit runs and RBIs. you can kind of like Ohtani, I think 2 days straight, he had 4 or 5 balls hit over 100 miles an hour or directly at people. And we had the hit run RBI. It's like, I'm just going to keep betting it then as long as he's facing non really studly pitching. So, we just kept doing it till he hit a home run. I think he had multiple hits in that game. Oh, come on. Throw him out.
This is going to be tough. Yeah, he scored.
Yeah, he scored. But that is why we bet the plus 290 on Toronto to win the inning, which is already cash now. So
yeah, that was a great point.
That's why I like those. You can't do it as easy in the first inning, but when you play those third, fourth inning totals like that, and then they allow you to simply bet which side will win an inning, you can put yourself in positions to get arbit, basically, where you're just getting both sides very consistent.
And to Mike's credit, he pointed out last inning, you could kind of see this coming with Strider.
Yeah.
Like it was the bottom of the order. Things were coming unraveled. He didn't have his command. He was all over the place. Now the second time through, they're good hitters with Bichette and Vladar coming up. You could kind of see this coming. And Mike was all over that, saying now's the time to get ahead of it.
Yeah, I might want to jump in with Scott Davis on the Mets as well. 2-0 Milwaukee, by the way, in 1 out in the bottom of the third. So my play isn't looking very good. But of course, Sniper, you already cashed your play. Zach, I know you only have a few minutes left with us. Anything you're taking a look at right now?
That was good timing, Sia. I was just about to raise my hand. No, I'm happy with the positions that I recommended. We'll see if Harris can end up getting a hit. If Festa does give up a run here, I still don't mind, as I said, pregame jumping on Minnesota. In game, I think they can pull it out. They're coming off a team high 13 hits yesterday, so they could have some life later on in this game if it does get to that point.
All right. And according to the chat, it was Christian Yelich who hit a home run to make it 2-0. 1-0 Toronto over Atlanta. Let's see. What other games are we looking at? We're looking at the Mets, Minnesota, 1 out in the top of the fourth for the Mets there. And then Houston, St. Louis, still 1-0 Houston, top of the fourth. Anything to look at in that game, gentlemen?
Cardinals could use a hit. Ronel Blanco, is he going to pull off another no-no?
Wow. There being no hit.
It's 3 innings.
Yeah.
Just anytime I see that 0 in the hit column, it jumps out to me. But it's early. Yeah.
Stephen Cook says, take Strider out. I have under 14.5. He says Ks, but he means outs, I'm sure.
If you have under 14.5 Ks right now, you are sitting pretty.
That'd be a good play every day. Even on like Skeens and Scooble.
Ooh, I thought he was
That
out.
even stole a base, huh?
Yeah, I think he was out. I think they're going to replay that. I think review that. I think
for Sean Murphy's ego, he better hope he's out.
Yeah, and he's already in the high 50s in pitches. So, Mike, you think this might be if he goes 8 more pitches in this? Is this his last inning?
I think it's his last inning.
Yeah, I wouldn't be
almost regardless of what happens here.
Yeah,
yeah.
I guess he might have missed him. I don't know. That was really close.
I would be surprised if he got another inning after this.
Yeah,
it actually looks like he might be out. Sia, you're right.
He definitely got the.
The
it was just a matter of whether he tagged him or not. If he tagged him, he's out because Hand didn't get there first.
Well, to the point of hard hits again, Strider on that ball that Vlad hit. That was 113 back up. I mean, he squared that ball up perfect.
Yeah.
Man, you can't see that from the back end.
So Strider's, definitely still not fully himself.
Mets have a man on with 1 out. Full count I'm looking at right now. So if you played the Mets, I mean, I don't know. That one's now minus 125. I think Scott Davis might have gotten that at like plus 175 before. When they got out of the inning, it was still like plus 105, plus 110.
Yeah.
And now it's Mets. Oh, no, now it's Mets plus 110. So they must have recorded an out. Yeah. Top of the fourth, 2 outs instead of the 1.
He was out, Vladdy.
Oh, wow. All right.
There you go. Sean Murphy lives to see another day.
Let's see.
Vladdy stealing a base on you. It's tough.
Just to piggyback, I want to piggyback on AMags' point on the exit velocity thing. It's become kind of a pet peeve of mine now when some of the so-called old school fans get pissy about, you nerds need a stat for everything. Look, when we were growing up and we were playing baseball, all everybody ever said is just hit the ball hard somewhere. That's all you can do, right? Now we can measure it with exit velocity. And when we didn't used to have that ability, if you looked at the box score and you saw one guy was 0 for 4 and the other guy was 1 for 4, you might have thought the 1 for 4 guy had a better day. And he did technically. But if the 0 for 4 guy hit it hard right at somebody every single time, he's a lot more locked in than the 0 for 4 guy if he was 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts and a weak grounder that found a hole for a single. I would much rather have the 0 for 4 guy who hit it hard right at somebody going into the next day. So that's where I think you can grab those exit velocity readings. And if you see somebody is hitting the ball all over the yard right at guys and has a low batting average, for example, he's probably just about to break through, and it might be a good time to jump on his props.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Great point. Scott Davis says, this is one of the coolest shows ever. Love live plays. And Liddy agrees. Thanks for being in here, everybody. Always when you get in here, hit the like button. And if you happen to be new to this channel because you saw this MLB live stream and you're like, oh, this is great, make sure you subscribe to SportsLine because we don't just do this. We have shows every single day. As far as the question about whether there's going to be more of this, I mean, we've got Ben on the 1s and 2s who is controlling this show, controls pretty much every show. And that'll be certainly a discussion point. I think we do have plans for shows like this. I mean, it's so early in the season, so it's very likely we'll do a lot of these when we have a few games converging sort of at the same time in the early afternoon. And to have these guys on specifically, I mean, obviously Tom and Zach as well when they're in here, but you three, I think, honestly, are just bedrocks of certainly the Early Edge Morning Show. I think people just love having you all in here. So just love this show. We got a lot of special shows coming up too.
We need a producer Ben pick for the show here. We need something. The Cubs game is coming up at 4:10 here. I saw a couple Cubs questions in the chat on some of their.
Ben is a fellow IU guy, so we've got IU synergy right here.
Yeah, and he's just a Chicago guy in general, so he's rooting for the Bulls tonight as well. He has a pick that he did on the Early Edge. What was it? A first quarter? I can't remember. Ben, you can jump in if you want. I don't know if that throws off the graphic or whatever, but jump in. If you have a pick, if you have something you're leaning toward, or if you want to remind everybody what your basketball pick was, don't hesitate. Ben, pick please, says Aaron Taylor, Tailored Winnings.
Sniper, did you guys ever talk about quabs, like quality at bats? Yeah, because that's kind of what you were talking about earlier. That's what we used to call them.
Like
quality.
when I used to play?
Yeah.
There was
so where you could, as long as if you hit the ball hard,
yes,
that was still a quality at bat. If you worked like a 6 pitch or longer at bat, it was
the rarest of the rare was getting a plus on a strikeout. If he fouled off like 12 pitches,
yes, exactly,
struck out, like he took a lot out of the pitcher, so you still get a plus even though you struck out. Yeah,
11 pitch strike, like anything over 6 pitches, it didn't matter what the result was. It was considered.
I'm very familiar with charting those because at IU I rode the bench all the time, so I had to grab the charts instead of playing. So I'm very familiar with charting those.
By the way, we got 4-0 now. Milwaukee. Montero has gone full Montero. So that first 5 bet for me is not going to work out. But of course, we catch Sniper's play at Detroit not scoring in the first 3 innings. Mike, as we look around the board here, I know we've been focusing on Atlanta, Toronto. Is there another game you're taking a look at aside from that one? Obviously, we have the other 3 going on.
Yeah, mostly just focused on this, looking for little opportunities here, but nothing else I've got locked in just yet, which is okay. I think that it's not realistic that you're going to have a play in every game or every inning of any of these games. When opportunities pop up, I definitely will look to jump on them. But the thing that I would say to those out there that are watching, and if this fascinates you and you like it, you don't have to bet it. You could still sit here and pay attention and watch the way markets move to get yourself a good understanding so you can be prepared for situations like we saw 15, 20 minutes ago. Just following the action like this, it never hurts to understand the way the markets move.
I think that's such a good point. And Sniper, I know you had follow-up there, but like across any sport, I think people who just don't think to live bet or haven't just come around to that yet, I don't think they understand how drastically and quickly things move, where it can really benefit you if you're looking for something. I mean, NFL is or football in general is a really good example of that. You see it in golf. tee shot goes awry and all of a sudden, in a matchup or in an outright, like, things get thrown off. Things move so rapidly, and you can really, if throughout the pendency of a game, you can find some really good lines depending on the circumstances that you're betting into. Sniper, go ahead.
I wasn't going to follow up, but there were any Cubs looks today in the chat, and I'm looking at Cubs Padres right now. Pivetta has been unbelievable in his 2 starts in San Diego so far, and Matthew Boyd on the mound for the Cubs has been amazing so far as well. And the Padres have not hit lefties as well. Maybe an under on the first 5 there. I feel like it's going to be pretty low scoring early on, at least the first time through the order with these 2 on the mound. Bullpens worked hard last night in a game that went into extra innings, and the Cubs bullpen isn't reliable as it is. So take that for what you will, but maybe low scoring for a little bit and then runs late.
Interesting. Really good angle. That one starts at 4:10. So literally in 2 hours. I went and jumped in on, by the way, I jumped in on the Mets. Very light play, but I'm joining a couple of you in the chat that jumped in on the Mets. I guess that would have been full game money line. So you were answering Stephen Cook's question, right, on the Cubs? Yeah.
Yeah, I just said any Cubs looks. So that was my initial reaction. Again, like yesterday, I went on the hits, runs, RBIs on Michael Busch and lost out. He missed a home run. If anybody saw it in the 9th inning against Suarez, it hit AMags 6 inches from being a home run.
I was on the hit run RBI too.
It was that part in San Diego that juts out into the field. It just barely missed it. So I came up short on that. But Busch, even his outs, he hit the ball hard. He's really, really locked in right now. So if you like any props, if you want any props in that game, you might look at Michael Busch. He's hitting cleanup. If the Cubs get guys on in front of him, he's swinging a hot bat right now.
Jen M says, also really telling to look at the movement on 2 books side by side can be telling to see patterns. Mike, do you ever do that to see patterns, or maybe, I'm sure you see it, but like a lot of times, especially in other sports where I'm live betting, I'll see a number that is vastly different from another major sports book. And it's like, you can really take advantage of looking at live lines at like 2 or 3 books, right?
Yes, absolutely. That's principle for me. Number one, the number one thing is just comparing in the market, because there are a few that can be slower to move, and you can be profitable better without knowing anything about anything and just literally looking at pricing in the market, because there's always going to be a book that is a little bit slower than the others to move. So yes, long story short, you should absolutely be studying multiple books, watching pricing move, and they all kind of price markets a little differently, especially in game.
And to your point, and Jen's point too, they react, like some react 30 seconds later than another, or 60 seconds later. Like it could be, going back to the football example, it looks like the quarterback might have suffered a concussion. They cut to break, and like some book will just take it off the board, and some book will just not react to it at all because he hasn't officially been declared out. Like things like that, you can kind of see for yourself and take advantage of. AMags, looked like you were laughing at something in the chat.
Yeah, Joey B says odds that AMags wears a pastel golf shirt on the show like Sia off the board.
That's funny, awesome. Joey B.
So we got Liddy says, Sniper, it's a great day to model the Dodger championship hat. Liddy sent me that. But
nice.
I'm absolutely not wearing it. No. Right there. Thank you, Liddy. It's displayed prominently for this whole season, so you're going to see it right there.
You should put that one
right above the Yankees,
right behind you,
World
so we
Series
can't see it.
No, I gotta give Liddy his credit here and let him see it all.
You know what? Put that hat with the Jorge Soler signed rookie card I gave Buckets, because they're both in the trash somewhere.
Too soon.
There's no when did you give it? Did you give that to Buckets before he moved? Because if so,
yes, it was like I think I gave it to him like right before he moved, and he was like, "Oh, this would be perfect in the new place," and then it just never made it to the new place.
No way. There's no way that made it.
We got a question in the chat about the Cardinals game. AMags, I'll just get reaction from you here. Houston up 1-0. Houston's got a man on second with nobody out. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought they had a man on second. Maybe I'm seeing that wrong. But either way, any looks like Cardinals are plus 180. It's a pretty big number, down 1-0 here.
Yeah, I just wanted to look to it like just, bullpen wise, what they've used, what Houston's used. It looks like the Cardinals have not used much bullpen at all the last couple of days. So as you get into the the later parts of this game, it does look like they should have most everybody at their disposal. And then Houston, oh, here we go. They used Abreu 2 out of the last 3, Hader 2 out of the last 3, Brian King 2 out of the last 3. So Houston might be in a worse spot here for the bullpen. I think that's the way I would look at it, because I don't really see much of like a major edge right now. Obviously, they're up 1-0, but
my gut feeling was Cardinals. Like, seeing if they get to see Blanco a third time through the top of the order. He's already walked several guys. My gut feeling was I think the Cardinals are going to start scoring here in the next couple innings.
I'm putting in. So I want to ask you, Mike, and I think so in this situation, when you can get the Cardinals plus 180 to win, or the Cardinals plus 1.5 at minus 135, in this situation, what's more appealing to you?
I would say the 1.5. I
just bet that, everybody, just so you know. I'm glad you said that.
Just the plus 1.5. Now, one thing I want to look at real quick, some of the expected data. Yeah, I mean the Astros have 2 hits. They fortunately have a run off of those 2 hits, but they do have 2 hits here. So yeah, it would be the Cardinals plus 1.5.
All right. I'm in on that play. If anybody else wants to join, let us know. Okay, so that's the Cardinals game that we just covered. Bassett is
back out there. Strider is back out there for the 4th.
Okay. He's at 63 pitches right now after pitch number 3 of this inning here in the bottom of the 4th.
Yeah, that's the one I'm playing right now, the outs under 16.5.
Strider needs to K the side here to get his K prop. I didn't bet it, obviously, but he needs
I wasn't going to take under 5.5. I mean, 2 good innings out of Strider and 6 strikeouts.
Yep.
There's no way they're putting him through 5, in my opinion. I don't see it.
This is it.
Yeah, this has got to be it.
Got to be, right? Got to be. And you know what? We're at 16.5. So even if this somehow isn't it, you have a whole other inning after this, and then he would still have to come out for the 6th and get 2 outs. I think that'd be really tough to do, but still a little bit of a sweat right now.
All right. Let's see.
We should show the Jeffrey Springs arm shaking video.
Oh man. Tell everybody about that, because you had that prop yesterday.
Yeah, that was, I don't know, man. Pitchers are very interesting creatures. And I went with Springs, thought it was a good matchup for him. It ended up not working out, but it was just strange to watch him quite literally shaking out his arm like after every pitch. So I just thought that was like super interesting. Something I haven't.
Who was doing that?
Funny, huh?
Who was doing that?
Jeffrey Springs. If you go into the Discord and the MLB props, like scroll up a little bit, there's a video in there. I screenshotted a video, and he was doing this after almost every pitch. And I think it was just his undershirt was like.
I would still get worried if I saw somebody doing
right.
That.
They kept letting him go. Like they weren't pulling him.
Like the only time I ever shook my arm is when my shoulder hurt.
It looked like it was his shoulder, like it wasn't an elbow thing. It was
you shake for shoulder.
But the thing is, he had like the sleeve down, then he had the sleeve up. I don't know. He was like messing with it.
But it would still worry me. Even
if for sure. I saw it in the first inning. I was like, what the heck is going on with him? Like, is he going to get pulled? Yeah. So if you go into the SportsLine Discord and MLB props, there's a little video in there to take a look at.
Cool.
Speaking of, oh wow, that's not leading.
That looked like it was hit way further than that.
It did.
Yeah. So stuff like that there, then I would go and look at how hard did he hit that ball? Like how far was the projected, just interesting stuff to look at. Like, was I looking at it wrong, or, was it hit really hard and it just somehow stayed? I mean, the roof is closed here today, which good thing Andres Jimenez has his sunglasses on at second base, because
So we're going to go like 5 or 10 more minutes, everybody. So if you have any final questions or final bets you want to ask about or offer, as I look at Detroit's got 2 on in the top of the 4th with 2 out. I'm hoping somebody can go yard here to make my first 5 interesting. But I am in on the Mets. Was it the Mets? Yeah, the Mets money line, top of the 5th, by the way, in that one, nobody out. And I did take St. Louis plus 1.5. We've got 1 out for the Astros in the top of the 5th currently. Let's go around the horn before we get out of here, and then I'll check the chat. But Mike, anything to maybe monitor before these games are out, or have we maybe kind of like when you when you live bet, are you typically live betting early in the games and then just kind of like seeing how it plays out? Do you often come in the 6th inning and see something, or is it usually innings 1, 2, and 3?
Generally the first 3 to 4 innings for me. The exception would be just following live, baseball savant data, and just understanding when someone's likely to be coming out of the game potentially or get hit harder. Typically a little later in the season when we get a little more data on some of these guys, but a lot of it for me, especially when looking for like some of those arbitrage situations where I'm hitting both sides of something, it's generally first 3 innings.
Okay. AMags, is that generally, and by the way, AMags, do you generally like engage in a lot of live betting? Is it a lot of it pre-flop?
I don't do a ton of live betting. If I do, it might be like live outs, live strikeouts, stuff like that. As you're watching the pitcher, you can get a sense, like we could kind of see Strider, right? If that line was still like, let's say 15.5 for plus money on the under, and he had been through an inning but looked like he was laboring, that might be something that doesn't show up in the actual box score, but you can just see it with your own eyes. So that's mainly more of what I do if I'm going to live bet.
Sniper, any follow-up there? And is there anything you're looking at with 4 games still going?
I think what I talked about earlier with the Strider 2nd inning in Toronto is, or even when I looked at that Quintana 1st inning, which I turned out to be wrong there because now the Brewers jumped all over the Tigers. Actually, though I think I said I might take the over in that game. It's more if you have a chance to watch, how does somebody look as opposed to are there zeros on the board for a starting pitcher? Because we could just kind of tell it looked like things were coming off the rails for Strider. And if you're watching the game, you could see that like, ooh, next time through, maybe I'll jump on the Blue Jays to win next inning, as Mike said there. So just stuff like that. If you get a chance to watch the game, then you can kind of see the flow of it, and you can kind of see, hey, he got hit a lot harder than 0 runs allowed.
All right. Nate Irvine says, are the Tigers dead, or did we get a chance? I think he was trying to say, no, they are dead. At least, they're pretty much dead. I mean, it's 4-0, bottom of the 4th for Milwaukee. I think we had a question about a Cubs. What, Nerfy was that right? Yeah, Nerfy for the Cubs.
Yeah.
Question mark.
I could totally see no runs 1st inning in that game. Yeah, I just mentioned Boyd and Pivetta, especially at home. Boyd all season. They've both been really, really good. The only thing that scares me on that is the home run. If you're worried about no runs in the 1st inning and you have Fernando Tatis Jr. leading off for the Padres, you have Manny Machado hitting 3rd. On the Cubs side, you've got Kyle Tucker in the 2-hole. That's a lot of opportunities for a home run in the 1st inning. So probably good on that, but that's where my pause would be.
All right.
It's also a 1:00 game in San Diego, right?
And the ball does not fly nearly as well at night in San Diego, where they always talk about the marine layer there. So that's a good point by AMags. Also, day game, ball might fly a little more. A lot of guys who can hit home runs.
Very, very interesting. As we see the Mets threatening here, it looks like, are we at 1 or 2 outs? Mets with 2 on.
If I could at least toss in just before we do head out, so I don't forget here, some home run stuff tonight in the Yankee game against Clark Schmidt. I know the wind is looking like it's blowing out, at a really good rate there. So I think, we saw MJ Melendez go yard in this series already, left-handed hitter. I think that you could see that, or Salvi or Bobby Witt. Those are some names I think you could look at in that game. So I'm siding with the Royals there tonight, but just if you're looking for some home runs, I threw a little bit on each of those guys.
Mike, why don't you close us out? Because I know you look at the Royals quite a bit. Royals in New York playing the Yankees. Any thoughts there?
Yeah, if I had to pick a home run in the game, it would probably be Vinny Pasquantino, the lefty. The weather is helping lefties big time in New York today. I say wind-wise. Short porch generally helps there in general, but so it's 50 degrees, but the wind, it's going to make it play basically like a June day at Yankee Stadium.
Wow.
So, it would be looking at the lefties, but Pasquantino is really the only one that I would maybe. I mean, you can maybe. Michael Massey's got enough power to potentially just pull one out at a big price point, but for me, it would be Pasquantino.
All right.
I was looking at Massey actually too. I think he's one of the guys that has a home run against Schmidt in this lineup too.
Yeah, he's on a wind day like that in that spot. He pulls enough that he could pull one into that corner.
Yeah, 2 for
Be a
8.
home run in like 2 of 30 ballparks.
Wow, did I see bases loaded for Soto? Did I see that correctly?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Just about to cash the Mets first 5, baby.
Here we go.
Was that one of our bets?
That was one of mine. Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember that. Okay.
Oh, come on, get it right
Well,
now.
so
baby.
let's see what happens at this at bat, and then we'll get out of here because I've got the live bet on the Mets. I've got the live bet on the Cardinals, who have one on with nobody out in the bottom of the 5th. So we could, I could go from 0-1 to 2-1 pretty quick. But so far, I mean, for the show, I think we've done pretty well in terms of cashing the pre-flop and live bets. I wish we could have this streaming through the show, which of course we can't.
Baldelli's coming out, so the Twins are going to change pitchers. So we've got a little bit.
Oh, all right. Well, then maybe we can adjourn. I don't want to vamp for 3 or 4 minutes and waste anybody's time. But I'll tell you what, if you cash any of these, let us know on Twitter. And we've got more than a few bets that are pending. We got a lot of bets that we had on the early edge. If for some reason you missed the early edge this morning, or you missed the podcast, or you're not subscribed to the podcast, go subscribe on Apple or Spotify. And don't forget, review the podcast if you can. That's always super helpful. It takes like 5 seconds. Go ahead, AMags. You're on mute.
Muted.
It's 'cause I was coughing. I'm sorry. I was trying to be respectful. They have the Braves bullpen up and running around right now. So
okay.
On the so if you're on the outs with me, hopefully that means that was Strider's last inning there, and then they'll be bringing somebody else in. So then that would cash as well.
All right. Love to see it. All right, let's go Soto. Let's go Cardinals. Let's cash a lot of these bets. Stephen Cook, thank you for saying that. It was a fantastic show. Thanks to AMags and Mike and Sniper and, of course, Zack Cimini and Ben on the 1s and 2s and 3s and 4s. Martin Peschiera says, love this show. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. Join us tomorrow for the 10 o'clock show, which we do every Monday through Friday. And we got a lot of special shows. Like we're going to have an NFL draft show. I think next week it's going to be an NFL like draft betting prop type show. So a lot of these shows pop up. It's not just the early wedge and the early edge. We got a lot of stuff during non-football season that just pops up. So during football season, it's crazy. We got like a ton of shows, of course, but either way, stick with us. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, AMags. Thank you, Sniper. Thank you to everybody in the chat. Let's cash some of these bets. We'll see you next time on the early edge.